Hey Grammar 5, today we're going to be doing adding and subtracting whole numbers and decimal numbers. So talking about place value, talking about just bringing together a lot of concepts that you guys already know. So before you start your lesson, please make sure that you've done your facts practice for the day, your mental math warm-up, do that problem solving, and then let's go ahead and start with the lesson. So in real life, there are going to be times where you are going to be adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing numbers with different place values. So if we look at this example right now, which is a pretty great real world example, let's go ahead and read it together. It says the Kubats hired a carpenter to cut an opening in their wall and to install a new door. The carpenter needed to order a frame for the door to cover the thickness of the wall. The carpenter knew the siding was 1 inch thick, the wall stud was 3 5/10 inches thick, and the drywall was 0.5 or 5/10 inches thick. So first off, before we even go any further, I feel like I didn't know what a lot of this was until I became an adult. Like, what is a wall stud? Question mark. You should go ask a parent, because I did not know when I was in 5th grade. Anyway, carry on. We are going to do this math. So let's go ahead and find out the thickness. We know that we need to find the thickness of the wall. And down here, we have the carpenter writing 1 inch as 1.0. That 0.0 means that there are 0/10ths of an inch. It is just 1 whole inch. This next number is the wall stud. It is 3.5 inches, or 3 5/10 of an inch. And then we have the drywall, which is 0.5 inches, or 0.5 or 5/10 of an inch. Now notice that 0.5 can be written, or 1/2 can be written as 0.5, or it can be just written as 0.5. But we still need to line up the decimal space or place and make sure all of our numbers are representative of what the word problem gave us. So one cue to remember is this right here. It says to pin the decimal point on the back of a whole number. And that was this right here. If we know that something is 1 inch, we can write it as 1 and 0/10, because there's no decimal or part of a number. It is all 1 whole. This number right here represents 3 whole and 5/10. This number right here is 0 wholes and 5/10. Then we just go ahead and add it up just like we normally would. So we know that we needed to get whatever he needed to order a 5 inches of frame for the door to cover the thickness of the wall. So let's go to the next example. So example 1 is adding these 3 numbers. Well, notice they all have different place values. We have a number with a 10th, we have a number as a whole number, and we have a number with 100th. So in order to add that up, we need to line up the decimal places. And here's our example right here. We lined up the decimal. All of our whole numbers are lined up. But if you notice, there's some blanks right here and right here. Because we have that 4 25/100th, we also need to go ahead and write zeros as placeholders for the places that are not as large as the hundredths. So now once we put that placeholder in, we go ahead and add. So if we add that up, we got 5, we've got, what is that, 7. We still bring our decimal place down, which didn't happen, and then we go ahead and add up those whole numbers right there. So that would give us the answer of 10 75/100ths. So remember, your whole number always goes to the left of the decimal, so pretend that's the decimal right there. And your decimal or your partial number go to the right of that decimal place. All right, let's go back to the picture, or to the text. So now we're going to subtract 24 6/10 minus 8. So if we set that up, hold on, if we set that up, it is going to be, sorry, I lost my place. So we have 24 6/10 minus 8. Well, shoot, man, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to line up our decimal. Remember, you pin the decimal right after that whole number. And we're going to put a 0 in as our placeholder. We know we have 0/10. This does not change the value of our whole number. And then we can just do the math. So we have 6 minus 0 as 6. We can't take 8 away from 4, so we are going to borrow. We're going to change that 4 to a 3, change that 2 to a 1, and now, oh, gee whiz, that is not what I meant to do. This needs to be, sometimes I think and write a little faster than I should. So there you go, 14, that's better. 14 minus 8 is 6, and you bring down that 1. All right, our final question is it's worded a little tricky, so let's do it together. It says, which digit in 4 and 65/100 is in the same place as the 2 in the 12? Well, if you look at this number, 2 is in the ones place. If I look at my 4 and 65/100, what number is in the 1 place? The 1 place is 4. So 4 in the 4 and 65/100 is in the same place as the 2 in the 12. So guys, right now what I'd like you to do is to do your lesson practice. Make sure you have a parent or somebody in the house check it to make sure that you understand the concept. And then when you get that all, if you get it all right, go ahead and start your mixed practice. All right, guys, I'm sure you're doing awesome. I wish I could be there to, or just be with you guys, but I'm praying for you and looking forward to doing some math tomorrow. All right, bye.